So I have my work sweater on because it is literally the only sweater that I brought with me to Arizona, and it is absolutely freezing here this week. But underneath that we have Abraham Lincoln reminding you to vote this weekend. Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Caitlin from Leave Me Alone Plants, and today I am here to tell you all about how to take care of your Hoya Crimson Queen. Now, in the past, I have found Hoyas to be a little bit intimidating, but I can tell you from experience after having one, they are very, very easy to care for, and I think a great option for beginners once you get the hang of them. So if you either have one of these plants or if you are looking to get one of these plants, then keep on watching. I'm going to tell you exactly how to keep this guy happy and healthy. So this Hoya that I actually got it at one of my local big box stores here, and I was so excited to get it mounted in this kokedama. If you've never seen one before, kokedamas are a traditional Japanese way of mounting plants, and this one, it doesn't appear to be done in the traditional way that they probably do it in Japan. It is definitely a little more of a commercial application, but still very cool, especially for the fact that most Hoyas are actually native to East Asia, so I think that it is a really fun play to have this plant inside a mounting method that is typically known in Japanese culture. I'm just going to set him there. Hopefully he can balance for the next little while. We'll pick him up and bring him a little closer in a second, but I wanted to start out real quick with the difference between a Hoya Crimson Queen and a Hoya Crimson Princess, because I know that if you have one or you have the other or you don't have either and are thinking about them, it can be a little bit confusing. So the main difference is going to be the Hoya Crimson Queen, which is this one that I have right here, is going to have its variegation on the outside borders. So literally just put it down, we'll bring it back for one more second. As you may be able to see, the variegation is on the outer rims of the leaves. Now, conversely, if you have a Hoya Crimson Princess, that variegation, I don't believe it's called a variegation when it's on the outside, but we'll just roll with it. That variegation is actually going to be flip-flopped, so the inside of the leaves on the Princess will be white and then the outside will be green. Now, I believe that the names Crimson Queen and Crimson Princess had just been good marketing and name back in the day when these plants were first trademarked, but they do, I believe, get that name from the fact that their leaves can have a pink hue when they first come in, as well as some pinking on the stem. So overall, really beautiful plants. You may also hear this plant referred to as a Hoya tricolor, I believe some people call it, and it is part of the Hoya Carnosa family. Now, if you're like me and you've spent a lot of time in the Facebook groups, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, comment down below if you agree, but I feel like people who are really into Hoyas tend to be like a very special type of person. Nothing wrong with that, they seem to be a very specific audience who really likes these plants. I believe there's almost 600 different varieties of Hoyas, so if you like this one, chances are there are a whole bunch of other ones out there in the world for you to enjoy and for you to explore. So getting into the basics, I think sometimes, at least for myself, when I first heard of Hoyas, I had this misconception in my mind that you just needed to give them bright, direct light. They wanted so much sun, and while they are going to enjoy a bright, indirect light, you're not going to want to go nuts with them. Although the leaves are very thick, they have a very waxy cuticle on them, and in fact, many people will refer to these plants as wax plants, they can still get sunburned. So I know I always give this disclaimer for people in Arizona, but really anywhere, if you have this guy directly in the light, it does have a chance of getting burned, so you're just going to want to pull it back a little bit away, still giving it a good amount, but just not letting it get too out of hand. As for watering, these plants are typically epiphytic. As you probably know by now, I personally love epiphytic plants. If you are new to this channel, first hit that subscribe button. But real quick, epiphytic plants are basically just going to be plants that naturally aren't always growing in a soil medium. Sometimes they are growing attached to trees or rocks or other things in nature. So with that in mind, just another reason why these kokedama can be a great display model for these plants, as it does give a lot of aeration to the roots and allows them to dry out really quickly. Conversely, if you're just potting in a normal pot, being sure to go with a really thick, chunky mix is really going to help to make sure that you are wicking that water away from the roots, because of course in nature epiphytic plants are not used to and they don't like sitting in a bunch of water. A sign that you might notice if you are giving it too much water, especially if you have kind of a densely packed plant like me, down in the bottom here you will start to notice kind of just things getting a little mushy in there. Things might start to turn yellow, so that is going to be a sign for you that you're going in a little heavy there, and just to back off on it. Now, I will admit, unfortunately, I have had one of these in the past, and as I always say, I am a bit of a underwater. And unfortunately in the past that is how this plant had met its demise. I really had just not gone in with enough water. The roots had died back and ultimately the top of the foliage had just turned brown. It got these weird little veinings through it, and it wasn't wonderful. So while you do want to be mindful of keeping, water away from sitting on those roots, don't be scared to go in with water when it does start to dry out. Now, if you live somewhere like me here in Arizona where, we don't get that much humidity, this is a fantastic plant for you. As I had mentioned, these leaves are incredibly thick, so you don't have to worry about any of that nasty browning or anything like that. And these leaves, they can definitely handle that. As for propagation, you can definitely do a stem propagation on these right in water, and as a matter of fact, let me just bring this closer for you. Hopefully you'll be able to see it. But on this stem right here, I actually have a ton of aerial roots. So if you have something like that, then obviously it will be super easy for you to propagate that plant right at that point. But otherwise, just be sure to cut right below a node and give those roots somewhere for them to come out of. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge flower person myself. However, I think one of the best characteristics that people love Hoyas for are the fact that they do have beautiful blooms. Now, I'll put some pictures over here of what they look like. It's basically a crazy looking ball of flowers, super beautiful. Now, if you've recently got a plant and you're wondering when it's going to start flowering, most people mention not getting their plants to flower for the first year, if not 2 or 3 years that they have the plant. However, once you have a more established plant, if you are giving it that bright and direct light, then you should be able to get it to go into a flowering cycle. Now, of course, I just let mine hang, and I have these stems coming out. However, if you want to put it in a pot and you want to add a trellis to that, or just give it something to climb up, these plants will absolutely climb up a trellis or anything that is near them. I keep mine hanging on the edge of my one window that I have, and I find that if I don't move the plant for a while, it can kind of latch itself right onto the blinds. So anything that you put this plant near, do just note that there is a very good possibility that it will latch on if you let it sit there long enough. Alright, you guys, well, I think that is where I'm going to end this one today. But as always, if you have questions or comments that I did not address in this video, please drop them in the comment section down below, and I will do my very best to get back to you in a timely manner. If you're watching this video right when it comes out, don't forget to enter my 1,000 subscriber giveaway that is going on until October 30th, and if you are late, then I'm sorry, but still hit that subscribe button because I'm quite confident there will be more giveaways in the future, so you don't want to miss those. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.